Hello and welcome. I can see there's a few people joined in already. We'll give it a few minutes while a few more join us. In the meantime, it'd be great if people can say hello. Okay, I can see some people are saying hello already. Yeah, please say hello and also, yeah, maybe share where you're dialing in from as well. I know we have participants from all over, so that'd be great. Hi, Tia. Hi, Paula, Nicola, Jeanette. Yeah, a little bit jealous. People are in warmer places than here. I'm in Dublin, Ireland, by the way. So yeah, well, thanks for everything. Yeah, hi Mick. Hi Hamid. Hello Dave. It's the first time using this software, so please bear with me while I figure it out. Hopefully, there's um, nothing too difficult to manage. Mark is also here. So yeah, he's just saying hello, as you can see. The software we're using Tia is called Livestorm for webinars. So yeah, hopefully everything goes smoothly. So far, so good. Yes, there will be a recording, Gene. I think it will automatically be shared. If not, then we will make sure to send it over. I'll start sharing my screen and just give you a quick idea of the agenda that we'll go through today. Give it one more minute and then we'll kick off. Okay, so I think we'll kick off. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. Hopefully, we'll be doing this a lot more often, and yeah, we hope to be sharing all our everything that's been happening that's new within Teach and Go with you on a regular basis. I know everybody's busy, so you don't always get to see all the great things that we've been doing behind the scenes. So hopefully we'll try and bring that forward a bit and make sure all the new features are transparent. Everybody gets to see them. And yeah, hopefully, the aim is obviously for you and the schools to get more value out of Teach and Go. We also want to use these webinars to be able to capture more information about the needs of the various types of schools that we have on board and make sure that we steer towards that direction. As you all probably know, we do take a lot of feedback already from all the different schools, and we're working hard to make sure that we kind of satisfy the needs as best as possible. So yeah, so that's a quick intro. I'm going to jump straight into a few quick tips that are not always so obvious to everybody, but hopefully um, they will help a lot and save a lot of time in your day to day. So I'm just going to share. I'm going to open up Teach and Go. So you're all familiar with these screens, most of you anyway. I know there's some new faces as well, so welcome. Yeah, so we're on the dashboard here, and just some of the quick things I want to show you that we've introduced over the last while that not everybody knows about. I'll jump into the calendar first of all. On our calendar, we can see all our classes and all our lessons. There's a few little quick tips or quick things that you could do in the calendar that maybe are not always so obvious. It is possible to move and drag lessons around. So if you need to change a lesson time, you can easily do that from just by dragging the lesson. So we have a new time for the lesson. That's not always obvious. Rather than having to click it and change the time and so on, you can just click it and drag it. Another thing that you can do is you can create events directly from the calendar. So that's also quite useful. You can create events from here. You can add participants, and it will show up on their calendars. So just a couple of quick tips there in the calendar. I'm going to jump into the people section now, and we've introduced a new way to be able to view data. So the majority of you will be familiar with the custom fields, and most schools are using it to good effect, adding information about the students in their schools. And every school we know has different bits of information they like to keep. Now it's possible to view that information, so we can choose whatever fields we need to see. It can be custom fields as well. If there's any data on them, it'll show up in these fields over here. We can also remove things that are not as important. So if you don't need email there, you can also remove that, so you can have a better view of everything that's going on. Using the search, you can then use a search to be able to find information quite easy. So for example, if you want to look up a location, we have Vancouver here. I think that's short for Vancouver. If you put in the van in here, it's going to bring up everybody who's in that location. So this can be used in quite a number of ways. If you obviously need to see data in for certain information, if you want to use it as tagging, it can also be done. So for example, if you have a certain group of students who are in a certain location or university or anything like that, you can all group them together. And then when you've grouped them together, another quick tip that I like to share with you is just around the bulk actions. So these can be everybody in this group will automatically get whatever is chosen from the options up here. So whenever we use a tick box beside somebody's name, we can add multiple. If there's multiple students, we can do multiple things. So we can add a fee to everybody who's been selected. You can add a note, can be private or shared, and so on. Invite to portal. So this is really useful if we have multiple students that we want to invite. So we can do it just like that and invite everybody, and we're going to send out emails to everybody who's in the list. When enrolling for classes, it's also really useful. We can also, for example, have, if we have everybody who's in this class and we want to enroll them in another class, we can just do it like that. So loads of quick shortcuts there in the bulk menu. If you need to send a message to the whole group, you can also do that. If you need to archive students or remove students, that's also possible. So this is really useful rather than having to go to individual profiles and do things, which can obviously take up a lot of time. So hopefully those are helpful. Another question that's come up quite a bit is around being able to check whether students or parents or anybody else have signed up for a portal access. So there's a way you can do that. In here, we can export a report that shows that information. So by default, you're going to get all the fields plus the custom fields that we've added. And then down here at the bottom, we have two fields related to whether the user has signed up or not. So we have an account created, which will return a yes or a no. And we also have a last login that will give you a timestamp of when the last logged in. So using those two fields, you can establish who has not used the portal, who has not signed up for the portal just yet, and who has. And yeah, you can obviously send an email to those students and let them know to get on board. Jump into payments here, just a quick one as well that I will show you. In the overdue payments tab, it's possible to also choose multiple items, and we can send a message out to these people who are overdue. So, if you want to manually, send it in a few steps, send an email out to everybody that owes some money, you can do that in a few clicks as well. That seems to come up quite a bit as well. So hopefully that will help. We do have an automatic way to let customers know about that, which we'll cover shortly as well. I'm going to pause just for a moment just to check on what is happening in the chat, just in case there's any questions that are relevant to this. Okay, so far so good. It looks, if you feel free to ask any questions that are related to what we're discussing. If we're going to have a Q&A session at the end where you can ask more general questions. But if there's anything related to what we're kind of discussing, just let me know, and I can take a break after every stop. Great, I'll keep going. So one of the things that we kind of wanted to discuss with you today is kind of around a set of features around communication. So I think that will be kind of like the kind of overriding theme. But over the next few months, we'll have different webinars to kind of cover different subjects. On this one, I want to talk a little bit about communication with internal communication between your teachers and your staff, but also more ways to communicate with your students and parents and so on. I'll jump into the school settings in here. We've added recent features around automatic reminders and a few other things, so I'll cover those. So in here, we can send automatic reminders on a few different occasions. So we can send a message to student, an automatic lesson reminder every time before a lesson. We can set the time, so whether it's 2 hours before a lesson or 72 hours or just 15 minutes, we can do that. This is to remind you. And what we can also do, we can add some variables. And so if you want to see the variables, you can hover over this eye here. Oh, there we go. Come on. There we go. And we can use some of these variables to customize the message a little bit. So we can add the student name, we can add what the course is, and a few other details as well. School name, the lesson time, and so on. So this is obviously really useful to make sure that students know when their lessons are coming up. It can happen that we forget meetings and we forget so on and so on. So reminders are really useful. The emails are completely free of charge, as with all emails within the platform. The SMS will have a charge. So it is up to yourselves whether you want to use the SMS or the email option. There's also an option to send a push notification, which we're going to touch on in just a moment. There's also an option to send an overdue payment message to students or their parents if they're the ones who are going to be notified. So we can set it that after 5 days, for example, that a payment hasn't been received, it'll automatically send a reminder to say there's an outstanding amount or whatever message you want to send. We will be adding a couple more reminders over the next week or two. We hope to add a reminder for when a new class starts, so we can send a message to students or parents 1 week before the class begins, or X amount of time before a class begins, and another one before a class ends. So it might be useful to give them a heads up that the class is ending next week, if they need to subscribe for more lessons, or if they need to just make sure they don't appear in the school without realizing they had no lessons. And that's also a good way to let them know about that. Mobile push notifications. So this is a useful feature, obviously, for people who have downloaded the mobile app and who allow notifications on their phone. It is possible to send a numerous number of notifications in different occasions. So up here it's for the students and the related contacts, the parents or guardians. Down here is for the admins, teachers and staff. So this is really useful, and you can customize it to how you need. So if you want students to be notified by an alert on their phone that the lesson is cancelled, you can simply click on this, and everybody who has the app will receive that notification. Plenty of options there if the student is marked as absent, if new lessons are added to your class. So plenty of options to make the student and parent well aware of what's going on. And again, similar with the teachers and the staff, if there's changes going on in the school, rather than having to let them know every time that this has happened or this has happened, a notification might do the job. So we recommend to play around with those, ask your colleagues and your students to download the app, and then also allow the notifications to make sure that they stay up to date. Email notification. So this is a newer one that we've added recently. So this is will allow you to set up an email. Again, we can use variables, and we can send an email to students whenever they are enrolled in a class. We can show various information. We can show the next upcoming lessons as well. It will list the lessons. So that's once again, whenever you just enroll a student in a class, it'll automatically send an email to say that they're enrolled. You don't need to, maybe send a follow-up email, whether you're doing that manually or you're letting them know in another way. This will hopefully cut out, the middle part of that process. So I recommend to play around with that, to try it out, and hopefully that will be useful. In the near future, we hope to add a few more options to be able to customize emails as well. So the invitation email is one that we will hope to be able to you'll be able to customize that a little bit to maybe suit your own messaging, or what you need to let the students or their parents know before they sign up for portal access. Okay, I'll jump back in here to the dashboard. So another way of communication that is hopefully going to help is by notifying other members of staff about messages or notes, or what, certain actions that are happening in the school. So in this example, if I'm in as a demo, but I just want to say here, great work, and I want to notify somebody in the building about this, you can send a notification to a teacher or to a staff member, or an admin, and Nicola will be notified about this notification. So it will look something like this. Nicola Ryan has shared a note with you, and this will direct to the student's profile. And here we go, and we can see here, whatever note has been left for you or has been shared, you'll be able to see that on the student's profile. So yeah, great way to kind of keep internal communication, within Teach and Go. So rather than having to maybe send a WhatsApp message or let somebody know in one way or another that you've done this thing, you can send them a notification through Teach and Go with a link to that message, and yeah, they'll be notified of that, and yeah, hopefully that will save some time internally. So yeah, that's a few of the recent features we've added around communications. Yeah, I'd be interested to know if anybody has any questions around those. So we have a couple of questions, it looks like. We started using SMS reminders recently. We will be notified when we're running out of SMS credits. So with the credits, whenever you send a message from the group messaging, it does give you kind of in the corner how many credits you have. I don't think we have a notification set up, but it is a good idea that, when you're running low, we can send you a little notification to let you know that you're below 50 or something like that. So yeah, thank you for the suggestion, Jean, and I think we can implement that. For Indonesia region, is the reminder system was handled by our local communication company or what? It's all from Teach and Go, Ahmed. Everything is within Teach and Go. So yeah, it's all within Teach and Go. It's emails. We use an email server to send the emails to the students. And the SMSs, we also have an SMS provider that sends the SMS. So everything's handled within Teach and Go, the same as a normal email that you'd send from Teach and Go. Once you read the note, I think it gets deleted. How can we keep it in the notifications? So, yeah. So once it gets read, it doesn't show up in the notifications anymore. It does stay in the student's profile. So I'll just jump back in here. So you can see there's no new notifications because we clicked on it and we went and visited the page. So I guess the idea there is just to kind of, in the notification section, to kind of keep everything that's new. Otherwise, the notifications will just build up. If there's an action that needs to be done off that notification, there's always a checklist here that can be used. This checklist is personal for every user, the teachers or the admins. So you can just add, that you need to do a certain action, and you can put a date and a time around it. So if you need a reminder about that message, for example. But yeah, once it's clicked on it, it'll just kind of go away from there. It will remain the student's profile, however. Is the notification sent via email or mobile? Hi, Jorge. So we have, I think you're referring to your automatic reminders. There's options to send the notifications. So I'll just jump back in here. So yeah, in the automatic reminders, we can send by SMS, we can send by email. You can choose SMS and an email, so they get both. Or we can do, 3 of them, in case you really want to make sure they attend the lesson. So that's the options there. The mobile push notifications, this is specifically for the mobile app. So they will receive like an alert on their phone whenever one of these things happens. The email notifications here, these are emails. These are like an enrollment email. So it'll be like, welcome and so on, or whatever you like it to be. So this is sent by email. There is an SMS version. Still waiting for the approval in the US. The US is a little bit tricky with the SMSs, so I'm still waiting on a response there. Okay, so I'll move on. And there's a couple of other features that have come that have been introduced recently. I'm not going to dwell on them too much, but I think it's just might be useful for you guys to know about them. We have a new feature around assignments. So it's possible to set up assignments that are set up for all the individuals in the class. They'll be able to submit the work if you give them permission and so on as well. After an assignment is added, you'll be able to see who has submitted the work and who hasn't submitted the work just yet. So we have instructions on how to work this in our help center. So we will share the link to that afterwards if you think that will be useful for you. Another feature that we've added recently is also the SEPA DD direct debit in bulk. It's now possible to create a template from Teach and Go that you'll be able to import into your bank system, and it will be able to request money, those amounts. You'll also be able to create receipts automatically from that for those people who have been set up for SEPA. There is a help document on that in our help center, so we will share the link to that as well in case that's useful for you. And if you have any questions on that, please feel free to let us know through the chat. Okay. So just a couple of things to mention about things that are upcoming or planned for the future in the next few months. So we're hoping to add a feature for managing the school holidays. So we know this is quite a popular one that has come up a bit. So basically what you'll be able to do is be able to add in the holidays of the year. And when you create classes, you'll be able to automatically skip those holidays. So during the Christmas period or any breaks during the year, national holidays and so on, you can add those in at the start of the year, and then whenever you create classes, you don't have to worry that the lessons are on those days. Also, any lessons that are on those days will automatically be removed as well. You'll get a prompt. So we'll be rolling that out hopefully next week. Prospect page. So you may be familiar with the prospect page that we have in Teach and Go. I'll just hold down here a little bit. So each school has their own page that they can share with their prospects. We're going to be adding more customizations to this to allow you to be able to kind of get it more to exactly what you need. And then you'll be able to share this. You can already use this and put it on your Facebook or your website, anywhere you like. And when students fill this in, a new prospect is created in the prospect section that you can manage and hopefully convert into a student. So we'll be adding more customizations there to make it kind of suit exactly what you need. So look out for those. Other features as well. Another one that has come up a little bit lately is just around when you are copying your courses. I know some of you would like to be able to copy the material over rather than having to maybe upload the attachments again and things like that. So there will be a feature to allow you to copy the material when you copy the course, and so hopefully that will save some time as well when creating courses. Also looking over the next few months, hopefully over the summer, to implement a feature for forms and quizzes. So it's also, again, a popular request is just, I know a lot of you would like to capture information from students or parents or even from teachers. In one way or another, it may be a form for some reason, or it might be a quiz or some sort of assignment or something that's multiple choice, for example. So that you'll be able to host that within Teach and Go. The student will, once they have a portal access, they'll be able to view that and fill it in. You'll be notified around that somebody has filled it in, and you'll be able to view that from their profile. And then it will stay on their profile. So any forms or anything like that can just be saved along on that profile and used for any purpose that you see fit. Some other integrations that we are also looking at and hopefully introducing some of them before the end of the year. Is we're looking at like a Zero or QuickBooks integration to help with the accounting. Um, Gmail integration is one that we are also considering. So this will help with syncing the Gmail account. So any emails that you send from Teach and Go are essentially sent from your Gmail. Um, so you'll be able to view those emails in your Gmail as well. Google Sign On. So this will allow you and your students to be able to sign into using the Google Sign On. You're probably all familiar with it. It's used in a lot of places. So that will be also one that we'll be adding in soon. WhatsApp is also one that's requested. So we're looking into that. The integrations are always a little bit, let's say, trickier to implement. So we will work on those and we'll see what we can implement over the next few months. Great, thanks. So that's kind of what's upcoming in the next few weeks and months. Another thing that we will be looking to do is more regular newsletters. So hopefully on a monthly or bi-monthly basis, we'll be sending out newsletters, letting you know about what's happening in Teach and Go. We'll also be scheduling more webinars like this to cover some, whatever new topics are coming up in Teach and Go, to make sure that everybody's staying up to date and we're also chatting together. Great. Thanks, Marks, for sharing those articles. Yeah, so I think we can open up for a Q&A. Please feel free to ask some questions and I'll try and cover them. Please try and keep it general so they're just as so everybody can get some value out of the questions. If there's anything that's really specific for your needs, then please just let us know through the chat or email, and we can go through it there. Yeah, I'm seeing some good feedback here, so thank you very much. Okay, so Max has a question. Can you copy a whole week's worth of lectures events? Yes, that would be the idea. So when we copy a course, it'll copy the whole course over. So if it's a week long, it'll, copy the week long, amount of courses. So we're happy, so hopefully it should cover your needs. Attachments, possibly also adding the option for notes as well. So I hope that will cover your needs. We'll let you know when that comes out. So the grading and the report. Okay, Ahmed, maybe we can go through that. We've made a lot of changes on the grading in the last few months. So some of those features hopefully we'll cover. I'm not exactly sure what features you need, so we might have to take that offline just to go through that. Holgate's asking, can you quickly go into one more time over sending internal message to the students? Okay, so let me do that. So within Teach and Go, you can send notes. There's multiple places that you can send notes from. Let me share my screen first of all. That would be a good idea. Okay, so yeah, we can share notes with students from multiple locations. You can do it from a student profile, you can do it from the bulk actions, and so on. So I'll jump into a student's profile here, and we'll click a new note. And we can say whatever message we like in here. You can do different various things, add in images and links and embed videos and so on as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do in here. Down here is who gets to see this message. So at the moment it's private, teachers can see it. If this is chosen, then it's also shared with a student and a parent. And if it's specifically only for admins, then you can choose the admin option. Only admins will see this option, of course. So it depends on what you need to. But if you want the student to see it, then I'll, choose the shared option. At the same time, we touched on this earlier, we can notify somebody about this message if it's relevant. So you can notify the student at the same time, and also a teacher and the staff as well. There's also some options here with regarding notes, so that it makes it easier to categorize them later on if you need to pull some reports, or if you need to filter. There's some categories here, or you can just leave it blank. So when this is saved, this is going to be shared on the student. The student, if you have set up in your school the mobile push notifications that we touched on, there is one here where a personal note is shared. They'll receive an alert on their phone to say that a note has been shared by the school. When they open that up, they'll be able to see the note that's been shared with them. Also, it is possible to allow students to send notes back. So I'll just jump in here, and the user permissions, the students. The default is none for both of these, but it is possible to update these and allow your students to send messages to their assigned teachers and to the admin. So you can turn those on if you wish to get communications from your students within Teach N Go. Okay, so Max has a question, just a follow-up question. There are multiple courses and events in the same week. Can everything be copied over in one go? Or must each of them be separately? So it's obviously still in the works. We haven't kind of set this up yet. So everything's up for discussion, Max. This is also be good to get some insight from you on what you think is best. The idea would be that that course, within the course, you can have multiple attachments and so on. All those attachments will be copied over. So if I jump into a class here and we go into English with John, probably no attachments in here. This is just a dummy class, but in here we can add all the attachments that are related to the course. We can set the privacy for them and so on. So these will can automatically be copied over. So if there's something that you feel is that would work for your needs, or maybe not, you can just let us know, and then we'll obviously keep it in mind when we're building it out. Paula asks, with regard to the tagging that was mentioned earlier, are students able to see all of those fields, or can it be hidden from them? The students don't see any of these fields. So let me jump back in here. Yeah, so the students don't have a view of these tables. They don't see their profile as such. They see very minimal information. So they don't see this information here at all. So this is really for the administrators, and can be used for the teachers and staff as well. There's another place where you can also see this information. I'll just jump into it just to give you some visibility. So just jump into a class here. And we can do the same thing in here in the Students tab. It might be useful to, for example, to show different things. That's what, whatever is relevant. And maybe we don't need to see the emails again or the phone numbers. We can hide those. Yeah, and just kind of, make it easier for you guys to see what you need to see. Hope that answered your question, Paula. You're welcome. Yes, please send over, Max. And we'll definitely put that into consideration. Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's any other questions. But if not, okay, so we have Jean, we'll take one more question from Jean. Is there a place that we can easily see a student's attendance on a class-by-class basis? Yes, there is. So if I jump into a student's profile, there is a tab for attendance, and you can see the total attendance here, but we can also filter by class to kind of, see it in attendance by class. So we can see the present, absent, and late, and we can also, have the total there again. So yeah, I hope that answers that one. The date he was present, the date he was absent. Okay, we can go into classes in here. We'll list all his classes, and we can choose the individual lessons by clicking on these guys over here, or this does the same thing, this button up here. So in here we can choose, by default it'll have all the classes, but let's say we just want to see English. Not updating there for me. But if we go down here, we can see the present, the absent, and so on. If there's any behaviors or grades or anything else that was added, you can do that. You can also add attendance from here. Okay, there, so it's refreshing there for us. So there's English, and we can see, yeah, the student was present on the 11th, on the 18th, absent on the 15th. Okay, so I hope that covers your question, Jean. It sounds like it does. Great, yeah, guys, thanks for the questions, good questions. Always useful to show those things off, and hopefully everybody who didn't ask a question also gets a little bit of value from what we showed off. Great, yeah, so I think it's almost time. So just want to thank you all guys for joining. It was really fun, I have to say. I was pretty excited about this, and I think we'll be doing this more. I think we might be doing a monthly one, and we'll make sure to invite everybody, and hopefully we can cover any new features, any questions that come up. The next webinar, hopefully we'll be covering some things, some tools that will help with growth. So we have some new tools that we've added as well over the last few months, like lesson booking system, the prospect page, and so on. So we'll cover those in a bit more detail. Yeah, so thanks a million, guys. It was fun, as I said, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you all on board, and yeah, all the best. Thank you. Thanks all.